Hi folks, this is Dr. Rob CYWES. I am the carb addiction doc, but I'm also a bit of a miser. And it really upsets me when I go out to eat or I even go out to shop, and carb addiction mom, my wife, does most of the shopping for the house because I can't trust myself in grocery stores these days. Having said which, man, I was out the other day and I noticed two things. First of all, the price of food is through the roof. The second thing is the quality of food is crap. So not only paying more for food, we're paying more for less good quality food. I'm not going to use Latin today. Maybe. Just before we go ahead, one of the things that's always in my head is the protein sparing effect and how to promote adequate protein synthesis in the liver. Well, sometimes the human body uses protein to make sugar rather than to make proteins. And one of those is if you're at a glucose deficit or if you're fat adapted at a ketone deficit, because some of those proteins, about 9 of them, actually when they get broken down by the liver, don't form sugar, they form ketones. So from time to time, if you've had a lean protein meal and you haven't eaten enough fat, popping something like this, ketone IQ, which is an exogenous ketone, will get you into ketosis very quickly, will restore your blood ketone levels, and then the protein that you've eaten will be used by your liver under the influence of insulin to make new protein, not to make sugar or to make ketones. Look at the show notes down below for a promo code to get 20% off. So I got to thinking, okay, how much money do I spend on food? And the reality is I actually try to live on average for less than $10 spend a day. Even in the modern climate, I tend to spend less than $10 a day on food. How the hell do you do that? How can you do that? Because you got to get a Big Mac fries and a Dr. Pepper, and I think it's more than $10 now. So how do you do that, Doc? Well, this video is about cutting your food spend in half or less and trying to get to close to about a $10 spend a day, particularly if you're trying to lose weight or correct diabetes. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing is getting into ketosis so that you can comfortably eat 1 or 2 meals a day. Weekdays, I eat 1 meal a day. Weekends, I eat twice a day. So if you're only eating 1 meal a day, that radically reduces how much food you need to buy or consume outside of that. And remember, anytime calories go into your mouth, that's a meal. That's a meal. So 1 meal a day, planned in advance, preemptively. Maybe 2 meals a day. The second point, home cooking. Cook at home. The beauty about a ketogenic diet, folks, is I don't really cook food. I chop food up and I heat it up. And if you buy individual ingredients where what you're buying has one name, lettuce, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, ribeye steak, 2 words, egg, fish, oyster, mussel, pork belly, that's the healthiest you can eat. That's the healthiest I can eat, okay? So single ingredients, home cooking, chop it up, make a salad, heat it up, grill it, and your spend is very, very little and you know exactly what's in there. So home cooking, okay? And always use salt on your food. Next, carnivore. Meat's so expensive, you don't understand. Carnivore. Yes, you may spend more than $10 on a ribeye steak. And I would urge you to get the best quality that you can buy, that you can afford. You may spend more than $10 on a ribeye steak. But if you're in ketosis and you are eating sequentially, you can take that ribeye steak and cut it in half and quite readily survive on half that ribeye steak. That means I'm taking my spend, maybe $20 for that ribeye steak, and dividing it in 2, now I'm at $10 or less. So carnivore actually saves you money. And there's a lot of inexpensive ways in which you can get carnivore. A can of oysters, I know oysters, Americans don't eat it. I don't care. That's your problem. All my overseas customers, myself, being an African, will eat sardines, we'll eat oysters, we'll eat mussels. And a can of those, not very expensive. And if you really are on the low end of the monetary side, you want to save some money. Hot dogs, even if you spend a little bit more on the hot dogs, you get the higher quality hot dogs. Pretty darn good. Hamburger meat, pretty darn good. You can quite easily, you don't have to be eating these grass-fed ribeye steaks. Nice. I typically eat them when someone else is buying. Not necessary. Okay? So the more carnivore you are, the better. And here's the other thing. Your waste is less. You may say, okay, I'm going to eat vegetables or salads. One of the things that I migrated to carnivore about was because we'd throw out a bunch of vegetables at the end of the day. And my dog does not eat leftover salad. So carnivore is actually a cheaper way to go for higher nutritional value. Next way, snacks and bridges. Convert your snacks to bridges. A snack costs money. It costs money and it's crap. Get rid of the snacks. Don't buy snacks. But if you've got your bridge drink, if you've got your cup of coffee or your cup of water, your mug of water, drink that. You're saving yourself money. And that's actually the very next point. So get rid of the snacks. Okay? And the next point is drink water and drink homemade coffee. Starbucks doesn't sell coffee. They're a crack house. They sell in crystal meth, occasionally flavored by coffee. Nobody spends $7 on a cup of coffee. But if I have coffee at home, and you can bulk buy the coffee, and I buy my Chevalier coffee on sale at Publix, where it's far less and it lasts for a very long time, and I go through, I go through a lot of coffee. I'm sipping on coffee as my snack. A little bit of heavy cream in there, or if you can't afford the heavy cream, a little bit of whole milk, or a little bit of half and half, just to give you the fat to suppress the appetite. But if you can't even do that, throw a little bit of butter in there, throw a little bit of MCT oil in there. Not expensive. And if that bridge item suppresses your appetite, water and coffee, you're saving a lot of money. Don't spend money. Even, this is a cheap can of RC Cola. It doesn't matter. It's still a spend. Water should be free. Unless you live in Flint, Michigan. Sorry, that was nasty. But water should be free. Okay? So if you're really looking at the spend, don't piss away your money on drinks. Cut back on your supplements. The best place to get your supplements from is your food. Best place to get your vitamin D from is the sunshine. Now, you may need D3 through the winter months, but very, very few people actually need the supplements that we get. Maybe some salt, maybe some electrolytes, maybe some vitamin D, and maybe some fish oil. The only supplement I take is a DHA fish oil, and it costs me $12, now brand. I have no affiliation with them. 1,000 milligrams of DHA fish oil, $12 a month. And my whole family eats that. My wife gets one, I get one, and my baby gets one a day. So the spend is very low. Other than that, no supplements. If you look at the laundry list of supplements that most Americans go through, the amount of money they're pissing away with that stuff. Yeah, if you absolutely need it, but for the most part, it's like a security blanket. It isn't biologically necessary. And if you're eating more of a carnivore diet, you're going to be just fine. So cut back on your supplements. And then if you really want to get into this, and more of my patients are actually being successful with this, do some homestead farming. Do some homestead farming. Take your tomato and plant the seeds, and you can grow a tomato plant. Grow some of your herbs and spices. Grow some lettuce, grow some spinach. And if you really want to, get a chicken coop. Not expensive to buy a couple of chicks, and so cool if you've got a family, so cool to teach them how to raise hens and raise chickens. And you got eggs. Eggs are so ridiculously expensive right now. Well, raise your own if you can. Now, if you live in an apartment in New York City, a little difficult. But there's no reason why you can't raise your own. You can't grow your own, and you can't raise your own. And if you start slow and you work into it, man, it becomes a lot of fun. The only problem, and I've run into this, is we've kept chickens many, many times in my life in various places I've lived, but I struggled to use my chickens for their meat. Now I got used to it over time, but the eggs were great. The meat was a little bit of a challenge because I kind of bonded with the babies. But absolutely, raise your own. And if you're on a bigger, on a small holding, get some hogs, get a sheep, get a cow that you can milk. I got one patient of mine where I get my raw milk from, actually Clyde and Lucy, and I had this big fight with Clyde. He's got this beautiful, beautiful farm, but I said, Clyde, you got to get some milk. No, it's too much. But now Clyde's got his milk shed. He's now raising the cows. He's breeding them, and he's got a whole milk industry going on. And they're making cheese, and they're making butter, and they got raw milk. And Homestead, growing your own food. Why not get into it now? And teach your kids about where food comes from. It doesn't come in a plastic styrofoam wrap bag that says Cheetos on the front. You can do it on a window ledge. Not do it. You can grow. You're being silly. You can grow vegetables, you can grow herbs on a window ledge in New York City. Remember the final thing about this. One of the most expensive things that you are going to pay for at some point in your life is your health. The way I live, I'm planning on waking up dead one day. And that costs me nothing. Waking up dead one day costs me nothing. I don't want to die in pieces. I don't want to have my toes drop off, my kidneys fail, and my heart fail because I'm eating crap. So if you eat decently, the long-term benefit and to cut cost is by not needing to see a doctor, by not needing to access the healthcare system. Better health means more money in your back pocket. So, folks, if you're going to cut food spending in half, 1 to 2 meals a day, home cooking, carnivore, leftovers, convert snacks to bridges, cut back on your supplements, drink water, drink homemade coffee, start up some homestead farming, and improve your health and see doctors less often. Everyone can do that. I am the Carb Addiction Doc. If I've made you think, if I've made you plan, if I've blown your mind, I love it. And if you do need help in terms of how to restore your health, give us a shout. WhatsApp us 561-517-0642. If you like our content, throw a few dollars our way. Keeps these videos free. We have a PayPal account. We have a Patreon account. Look it up in the show notes down below. And throw us a few dollars if you like this content. Till next time.